Wolves, man. Talk about a turnaround. From the verge of what looked like total collapse to, well, pure ecstasy. All within the first half of Vítor Pereira's debut, no less.
Yeah, you really couldn't have scripted it, could you? 1 minute we're dissecting Lemina losing the armband, Kuna facing a ban, O'Neill out the door, and the next, boom, 3 goals, a clean sheet, Molyneux absolutely rocking. Chance for Pereira already.
I mean, it's one game, sure,
Yeah.
but 8 Portuguese speakers in that starting 11, and they look like a different animal entirely.
Yeah.
What'd you make of Pereira's tactics in this one?
It's definitely got people talking, that's for sure. But it's more than just the language, right? It's the understanding, the communication that clicks when you've got that kind of shared background. And look, can't argue with a clean sheet, especially for a team that leaked 40 goals in their previous 16. Maybe a bit early for the Portuguese Revolution headlines, but there's a fire there now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Okay. I'll hold back on the Pereira's Portuguese potion for now, but you gotta admit, it's a story here. But let's flip it around and talk about Leicester. That defense was, well, less than stellar, wouldn't you say?
To put it politely, it was downright dreadful at times. Those goals, they were practically gift-wrapped. Guedes just strolling through for the first one, and then Gomes, well, bless him, practically tripped his way into his first Wolves goal.
And poor Danny Ward. You know, every time he made a save, even the most basic ones, that crowd was cheering sarcastically. Bit of a scapegoat for bigger problems, wouldn't you say?
100%. It wasn't Ward's finest hour. But you can't pin all of Leicester's issues on him. They've shipped 37 this season, same as Wolves. Van Nistelrooy even came out defending Ward after, said it was a collective failure.
And rightly so. Look at those goals again. You see individual errors, sure, but it's deeper than that. Lack of communication, organization, the whole lot. Wolves, credit to them, took full advantage, but Leicester made it way too easy.
It was like watching a team that had forgotten the basics. No pressure on the ball, players out of position, just this complete lack of awareness in their own box.
Worrying signs for a team that started the season with so much promise. They got 4 points from their first 2, even beat Newcastle. So what's gone wrong? Confidence? Tactics? Missing a leader at the back, maybe?
It's probably a bit of everything, isn't it? Wolves, they were buzzing after Pereira came in. Leicester just didn't have an answer for that energy. But yeah, there's a definite lack of leadership in that defense.
And with this relegation scrap heating up, it's a wake-up call they can't ignore. Wolves are just 2 points behind now, remember. Leicester are right there, on the edge of the drop.
Just shows you, in this league, things can turn on a dime. 1 minute you're flying high, the next you're fighting tooth and nail to stay up. And for both these sides, it might come down to who fixes that leaky defense first. Funny, isn't it? Both teams, they can put the ball in the net, no problem. But keeping it out of their own, that's another story altogether. Feels like they're both trying to outscore each other every week.
It's like, you ever seen those old pirate movies? 2 ships, riddled with holes. They're bailing water out like crazy, but they're still sinking.
Yeah, I see it. Great analogy. They can have the flashiest attack in the world, but if they can't defend, it's not going to matter. Especially down there, in the relegation battle, every point's a lifeline.
For sure. Speaking of, let's talk about some of the standout performances. For Wolves, you got to give it to Gomes. Finally, that first goal for the club. Must be a relief after all the pressure he's been under.
Bit of a scrappy one, yeah, but they all count. And for Doherty, 300 league appearances. Not bad at all. Shows you what consistency and hard work can do.
It's cool, right? Even in a game like this, where everything seems to be about mistakes, You've got these individual stories going on.
Yeah, totally. Shows the human side of it all. But let's be honest, the main takeaway here, it's those defensive issues. For both sides.
Definitely. For Leicester, this has got to be a wake-up call. 1 minute, they're looking like a top-half team. The next, they're staring relegation right in the face.
Steep drop-off. Makes you wonder about the tactics, the depth of the squad. Can Van Nistelrooy turn it around? Or is this the start of a bigger slide?
Big questions for Leicester fans, that's for sure. Then you've got Wolves. You know, Pereira comes in, and suddenly there's this feeling that maybe they can pull off a miracle.
Instant impact, that's for sure. But it's one game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can he keep it going against the bigger teams? Can he sort out that defense for good?
That's the million-dollar question. But for now, Habibi gang, let's zoom out a bit. This match, it's thrown the whole relegation battle wide open. Wolves 2 points behind, Leicester looking over their shoulder. Anything could happen.
And that's why we love the Premier League, right? The drama, the tension, the fight for survival. It reminds you that no one's safe. Every single match matters.
So what's the takeaway for the Habibi gang? Simple. Both teams, they can learn from this. You can score all you want, but if you can't defend, It's going to be a long, hard season.
It's an old saying, but it's true. Attack wins games, defense wins championships. Or, keeps you in the Premier League. Right now, both these teams, they need to focus on shoring things up at the back. Simple as that.
This could be an interesting run-in, that's for sure. Turning point for both clubs, maybe, or just, one of those weird results you get sometimes.
Yeah, who knows? The only thing that's certain is this relegation fight. It's far from over.
We saw what Pereira's Wolves can do when they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But can they keep that up? And for Leicester, can Van Nistelrooy rally the troops and fix that defense?
Tactics, morale, a little bit of luck. That's what it'll come down to, I think.
The beauty of the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
You just never know what's going to happen next.